ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with the show. It's a little late. Be getting a little late. Do me a favor, hit the like button, get it out there. I'm blocked on Facebook for whatever reason. I still don't know, so I can't even share the link. So let me pause this in the background. So anyway, like I said, so I can't really share the what's called. So if you guys in some of the Facebook groups that I'm in, they're gonna link, right click, highlight, copy it, put in the code of the Facebook groups. Appreciate it. Before, like I said, while the room is still filling up, I'm gonna go down the line. So what you guys begin into? What we got? How many we got? Juice ain't coming. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we go. But what's going on with you, Post? What you got going on with yourself, man?
What's good, peoples? You know, it's your boy Post Up with the close up, Mr. Let's Talk About It. We got a great show today, so we're gonna talk about it. You know, a lot of stuff to talk about today between game reviews just coming out in regards to GT. We got the interview with Shannon Loftis. You know, we got the Star Wars deal with EA shutting down Visceral Studios. It's just so much content to talk about, so it's going to be a great show today.
We got Cliffy B still not knowing how to shut up.
Facts. Let's get it.
No, that dude is on something, man.
Yeah. Mighty Mouse, what's going on? I know you had a problem with YouTube. You're back up and running. What's going to talk to me, man?
Yeah, what's going on, man? Yeah, it looks like they're trying to shut us all down, man. What's up with that? Let me talk softly. Yo, this is Mighty Most. No. This is your boy Mighty Most 2K. They can't shut me down, man. I ain't thinking about them clowns. You know, coming with the medicine. You know, I'm dropping something. I got something real decent like coming real quick, so stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just working on this content, you know, just fixing up the intros, the outros, all that stuff, just trying to tighten everything up, man.
All right. Garrett, you there, brother? What you got going on with yourself?
Oh, man, what's going on? It's your guy, Garrett from King's Blood Gaming, and y'all know me, man. I'm just out here putting out videos, talking about whatever comes to my mind, and dying on PUBG, because that's what I've been doing lately. Getting used to that PC thing. I've been, you know, making that transition, but I'm still an Xbox guy. I just had to get into something else too, man. You know how it is.
All right. Nethos, you there, good brother?
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Neth here, you know, representing that broadband bullies, posting videos nearly on the daily. And remember, keep a broadband out there.
And he's not talking about the internet connection either. Yeah. Anyway, Mass, I'm sorry, Mass. What's going on, Mass?
What's happening, brother? Yo, we about to get it in. This is gonna be a good show. Trust me, you wanna tune in for the length of it, because we about to get it in. But all my mans right here, we all get it in. The broadband bullies representing like we should across the YouTube space, across Twitch, across Mixer, across Twitter, the whole nine. We got this locked down. Keep it moving with us.
All right. So we're gonna start out a little light. We're not gonna dive right into this Shannon Loftis, and we're gonna talk about that one. You know what I mean? Very interesting. But GT Sport releases today. Came out today, right? Or reviews on today?
Yeah.
All right. So the reviews are up and down. You know, PlayStation fans love. What I find ironic is now they okay with DRM and always online, right? That's okay. It's not a big deal. It's the next generation moving forward, right? You guys are stuck in the past. You know, Sony's doing it the right way. But anyway, and that's not, you know, out of us, all of us here, Garrett, you are the car guy, the driver. What's the deal with the game? You know, what can you play? What can't you? I heard you can't save it. Talk to me.
I just got word. I got word from my guy that most of the game is locked off behind it having to be online because, actually, it kind of has a good reason, but that reason shouldn't be for everybody. So apparently the FIA is involved and they have like strict control over the player progression, the car purchases, and even the in-game photo mode for some. They don't even know why, but basically, you know, because you can get them licenses and everything, like real race driving licenses, and make money from racing on a GT Sport, I guess. So they want to be able to overlook on it. They want to be able to look over everything. You know what I'm saying?
Who's the FIA? What's that?
It's some licensing people. I guess it's some kind of racing license. Federal International de Automobile, something like that. You know, some French sounding shit. But they want to be able to look over everything. So basically, all your saves and everything, basically that they can see everything. They want to make sure you're doing this the right way. I guess they're trying to prevent people from cheating, but there's people who don't want anything to do with that. So they should be able to opt out of that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you ask me, it looks like certain people in certain countries who don't have the, you know, I guess the internet, like GT Sport looks like it's off limits to them. But I honestly, it's good for somebody like me who wants to race online and, I mean, you know, get them licenses. Like that's one of the things I loved on GT back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And if I was a GT guy right now, that's what I would be doing. But for somebody who doesn't care or doesn't even know, this is like kind of stupid. I mean, if you have an internet outage, you're basically done for in this game. You know what I'm saying? You can't save games. You can't do anything. All you can do is play arcade mode, you know?
Well,
that's just, let me know what y'all think about it, man. That sounds a little weird.
But gee, wasn't that the same thing they was beating us about back in 2013 when the Xbox was supposed to be all on all the time? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I'm just put it out. I'm gonna shut up. Let me shut up.
These dudes out here, you know how they get that wood buffer out, they start just moving it around real slow, like put a little wax on the floor. That's all they doing. Like everything that Xbox does, that PlayStation suddenly does, even though it's been doing it this whole time, is always a problem on one side, never a problem on the other. Sony gets that pass real quick, but it's okay. We ain't put a 4K Blu-ray in because it would have cost more. No, no, y'all ain't put it in because y'all knew that y'all fan base would buy whatever y'all put out. Y'all been nickel and diming this trash this whole generation, and everybody cool with it. Y'all doing what y'all get away with, and now y'all getting away with this, even though y'all have had these games for years. Y'all have had these services for years. Sony patented DRM, literally patented the damn thing. So, like, this is just a thing that Sony's been doing that the PlayStation fan base is only cool with if PlayStation is doing it.
Does it?
But I mean, Maxlin, are you really surprised, though? I mean, they're the one company out of the big three last generation that did online passes for their games. But hey, they're for the players, right, guys?
We're all wrong. We're all wrong.
But you know what? When you think back on it, like they always complained about something when Microsoft did it first. When Microsoft wanted to do broadband internet, you know what I'm saying? They said, "Oh, they're forcing you to do this." Like every single time, it was always a complaint. So this, right? Like that's nothing new. You know what I'm saying? It just now they ready to do it. They're pulling an Apple. Apple, put it like this: Android does things first. Apple comes along and does it when they want to do it and kind of makes it cool. You know what I'm saying? They trying to pull that on Microsoft, if you ask me. But it is what it is, you know.
I look at it like this, man. Industries are all about, it's not so much about the present, it's about the future. And it's about being able to look ahead and kind of trickle it down to what's going to be the next big thing. I think in regards to Microsoft's first initial idea with the Xbox One and it being always online, I looked at Microsoft as looking ahead as to what's going to happen and what's going to occur. And this generation, we pretty much have an always online system anyway. In regards to GT, I think that if that was Forza, I think it would have been a lot more backlash than what GT is getting right now. I just don't understand, like, if when it comes to Sony, somehow they get a pass for doing things, and then with Microsoft doing, there's it's an issue. If it's a racing game, we're used to or accustomed to having racing games that we're able to play online and offline. Whenever you force people to go online on a car game and not give them the option to play offline, that's an issue.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, right? Maybe I hate to sound like a tool, but I never had an issue with always online. You know what I mean? Just looking back at the vision or what Microsoft planned to do with the Xbox One back in 2013. I'm just being honest. Maybe because I've been online myself, and I understand what I eat doesn't make anybody crap or anything. But I've been online since 2002. We're playing, consoles online. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even cut my game on if I don't have the internet, just to see the dashboard, just look at my friends list, check my messages. It's just like, you know what I mean? If I ain't got the internet, I ain't going on the Xbox, or but even play anything, I mean. But I remember when they had the when they were showing the features once at an E3, right? And this somehow you can do your matches. And I remember I might find it and put that at the beginning of one of my videos or something. And the woman, I don't even know that woman's name. Sorry, please forgive me. But she was playing Killer Instinct. She said, you know what? My friends don't work at 7 o'clock. Yada, yada, yada. I'm going to set up a match in Battlefield 3. She paused Killer Instinct, set up the match in in Battlefield 3, and sent all her friends the invite or whatever. And then when her friends got the invite and joined the game, she got a notification. She went from Killer Instinct straight to Battlefield. No lag, no load time. Wham, blink of a dime. Wow, I was like, whoa. Like, to me, that was like innovation. Like, whoa, sign me up from there. You know what I mean? And it's kind of a shame we didn't get the console, you know what I mean, that we were supposed to get, and like some of the features. I can only imagine, you know what I mean, even like I said, not to be too cliche about the cloud, but you know, where would it have been at right now? Because like, again, every console online and developers knew that every console was connected, and then they would have used it. I mean, it's incentive for them to use it, you know what I mean? Maybe we wouldn't even have this resolution more, you know what I mean? Could offload some assets, I don't know, but that's neither here or there, right? But again, I just find it ironic that they don't really have a problem with it, especially from being a PlayStation exclusive. And they were some of the ones, like, shout out my man Boogie. I'm not taking a shot at Boogie, me and Boogie, all right? What about the soldiers? Or, you know, what about the people in Afghanistan and all this stuff? Remember this whole, you know, the soldiers online. I said, why wouldn't the soldiers have the internet? They invented the internet. What the army invented the internet? What the hell's wrong with this guy? You know what I mean?
I don't know if he knows it now, but they're actually over there playing the game on the internet, bro. Like,
yeah, I know. I know, seriously.
Yeah, there was a lot of that back in the day. What about the soldiers? And what about Connect watching you? I say your phone watching you. Your laptop is watching you. Your TV is watching you. You're being watched already. When you go outside, you're being watched.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It just like it was sheer lunacy. But again, you know what I mean. I asked you guys. Oh, maybe I think it was you guys here. It actually was on the multiplayer, but most of you guys here on the multiplayer anyway. Are we seeing the change of the regime or the passing of the torch, where you had Gran Turismo was the granddaddy of simulation racers? You know what I mean? I remember I'm getting, I think one, I did the second one on the PlayStation. You know what I mean? And then I just kind of found out getting this license. You know what I mean? Drive the straight line. You gotta keep up the speed to get the A license, the B license, C license, and all that stuff. I just kind of fell out of it. So, you know, I'm not really into the car games, but. And like what content wise, right? And what Forza is offering, right? And this is one thing where I don't understand, but I think maybe it's just the mold of Sony that they can spin a little and make a lot, because let's be clear, this Gran Turismo is their most, you know, successful IP to date. You know what I mean? Huge seller, you know what I mean? Far out past, you know, Forza, even though it was out, you know, a generation before, but the numbers for for Gran Turismo was huge. Are we at now where we say, you know what? Are we going to pass the torch? Is Forza going to be king of the simulation races? You know what I mean? You know, because it's still, you know, Gran Turismo is still, I think right now it's #1 on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. It's huge overseas, you know what I mean? And just like I said, well, content-wise, here's another thing you guys didn't mention. One of the reasons that they slammed Forza 5 was because lack of content. Remember that? And then you got a game coming out in 2017 with less content than the game that came out in 2013.
Check this out. Check this out.
Okay.
If the servers are down on your PS4, if the servers are down or your PS4 is not connected to the internet, no other parts of the game are available and no progress can be saved. This means you'll lose any in-game credits or level progression earned in arcade mode. Now, obviously, online matches depend on the servers, but so too does the rest of the game. Stuff that has always been available offline in the past, campaign mode. The career mode that includes the notorious Gran Turismo driving school is off limits while offline. Also one available offline, buying new cars, viewing your garage, editing car liveries, and even taking photos of fancy cars in exotic scenery mode.
yo, and
that's pretty much the game, bro.
That is all the game, bro.
That is the game. You still got the
can
case.
drive around a track, but none of it means anything. That's basically what it is when it's internet.
Let's say you're in like a 50 lap endurance mode and in the middle your internet goes out.
Facts.
Wow.
Don't even say you in the middle of it. Say you on lap 49, ground in the final turn. Your internet goes bye-bye. You did 50 laps. That's hours and hours worth of driving.
Yo, I'm gonna say whoever, man.
You'd be able to complete the track, the race,
It
but
won't save
you wouldn't be able to save the progress. So.
Right, which is completely pointless. You did hours and hours of work to get nothing.
I heard someone just mention is Forza gonna lose the crown to
No, not lose the crown. I was saying, is it time, like, because Gran Turismo is considered the granddaddy of simulation races, right? Is it time? Are we at the time now where how Jordan had to pass the torch to whoever came up to Kobe, and Kobe had to give it to LeBron? So are we at that point now?
No. No, I'm going to be honest here. As much as I like Forza more, and I think it's a better looking racer, GT is a little bit more simmy. It is. It's a little bit more simulated.
Okay. What explain what it has going for it?
Just stuff like the way the tires react, the balancing of the cars. It's a little bit more simmy, and this is not just me saying this. This is I kind of started digging more into it, and this is like from the expert guys that play sim racers for like a living. Like this is their thing. They're all tending to go on the GT sports side for the sim aspects, and out of playing them both, I will say that GT is a little bit more simmy because there were certain things that I was doing in it, and I was like, oh shit, this is a little bit more simulation. I'll give you one example. On one track, I was just trying to get like a still picture of the fucking car, but the car was on a very slight slope, like very slight, and the fucking car just kept rolling back. I actually had to go up past that little bump to actually get the car to stay flat. So I will say it's a little bit more simmy than Forza. Has a lot less content, but a little bit more simmy.
By you saying that, D, in the game, when the game is offline, the only aspect of the game that you can access is the arcade portion.
You can't even. You know what? I was playing the demo when it was offline. I couldn't even access the arcade portion when it was offline. When I was playing the demo.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you guys something, and one of the reasons why Forza will probably not surpass Gran Turismo is simply off of nostalgia alone. Like y'all know I'm a super Forza fan, but I told you guys before, like I didn't start driving until 2 weeks before my 21st birthday. Like I only knew how to drive because I played Gran Turismo 3 so much, bro. I just went in there and took the test like it was nothing. Like, and I was good.
Not hopping in the whip with you, bro.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, I drive like DMX, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. But seriously, like just the nostalgia alone keeps it ahead. Like, not to mention, believe it or not, whenever Gran Turismo drops, it outsells Forza. Like this Gran Turismo is going to outsell Forza. They're going to hold on to the sales alone. They don't care that this Gran Turismo could score very low in the Metacritic. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? I seen a guy today talking about the user score is the only thing that matters, bruh. They bomb user scores. There's a whole bunch of Xbox wood buffers on them user scores talking about how this is trash. Same way it's on Forza. The only reason why Forza's user score is so low is because of the weirdos from the other side. I'm just giving it a 0.
Okay, well, here's the thing, right? Now, sales, it should sell more. It has a much bigger install base, right?
I mean, but Forza is the better game. Don't get it twisted.
Okay, I mean, I guess it comes down to what you say tomato, I may say tomato, right? And I don't like, how you say, I'm not into the card games, but, and maybe I don't have maybe my opinion might not be valid, but I look at maybe what a game has to offer in terms of content, you know what I mean? And just in high production value, you know what I mean? And it's another thing, like I said, and just from the outside looking in, even sound, everything, like people that are into that, the 7.1 Dolby and stuff, you know what I mean?
Oh man, it's not even close sound.
Yeah, that's what like it's kind of cheeky. Like I played the demo, and I looked at Forza 7. I'm not a car guy, you know what I mean? I want to do 90 miles around a corner, like that's Need for Speed. That's my or Forza Horizon, right? But I'm just looking at it. It's like, honestly, it makes the GT Sport looks like a add-on, like DLC, or a last generation game. You know what I mean? Not just so much in visuals, but I mean it does in visuals. To be clear, this. I mean, I heard you say something, D, about the HDR. The HDR is better on GT Sport or something.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
I wouldn't go as far to say it looks like a next generation game, because it doesn't. Like, I'm just going to be honest, it doesn't look like a next. It is a good looking game. I just think that they put most of their attention onto the cars and the backgrounds, the trees, and like people bringing up, oh well, Forza has 2D trees too. Yes, it has 2D trees too, but it's very less apparent that they're 2D trees compared to Gran Turismo Sport. Their backgrounds, not all of them, some of the backgrounds look okay, but some of the backgrounds, like especially some of the rally stuff, looks horrible. The Tokyo track has got to be the worst looking track in the game. Like, now that track looks straight out of the PS3 era. I have to say that track does. But the game
isn't that demo though? Don't they usually take the models from the previous gen and stuff and just doll them up a little bit?
Well, the reason why there's not as many cars in this game is because they scratched it all and they wanted to get next gen cars. So it looks like they put most of their emphasis on the cars. And I'll say the cars look good. And there's like little details that I noticed, like for instance the driver inside the car. Like when you see him doing the turns, he actually rotates the full wheel the way it should be. Or I notice Forza doesn't actually do a full rotation on the wheel when you're like actually turning. There's like little stuff like that, where they put the little extra detail on the simulation part of it.
Well, I could picture this right now. We going out, we kicking it. We like, man, Joe, who driving? King's Blood driving. He good. He got his license from GT.
Here's the thing. Like Gran Turismo, just like Garrett was saying, Gran Turismo is all about nostalgia. Like it's always going to be number one because of the nostalgia factor. It was the first with the FIA license, so it's going to maintain that. And the reason they haven't changed anything is because even like probably GT3 was the last time they updated the sounds before Sport. And then they stripped this one down, still took 5 years, stripped this down, and gave you piecemeal content and put it always online. And then they said it's because of the FIA license. All the other ones had the capability of being online. The FIA license still existed. No, it's not because of the FIA license. Don't let that BS permeate, your thought process. They put it always online because they could control things. And it's the same way that things are progressing. Things have been progressing for years. But like I said, people want to complain when it's Xbox. You put a game like this that has always had a single player offline feature mode where you can just earn licenses. You basically strip all of that away and then strip a bunch of limited parts and then make it a full price game. People will buy GT Sport because it's GT. They won't buy GT Sport because it's a full Gran Turismo game. And you'll see people arguing that too. It's not a full game. It doesn't have a number next to it. So what? It's still a Gran Turismo game. It's 55 Gran Turismo games. Just because they don't have a number next to it doesn't mean anything. They took the same amount of time to make those games that they did this game.
And I'm hearing somebody DM me in one of my my services saying that apparently there's some DLC coming for it, like a whole bunch of cars coming. I've kind of been out the loop today. Can anyone confirm that?
Yes. Yeah, they have DLC coming that'll boost the number of cars somewhere to like 500. But see, this is the thing. We get Forza gets cars out all the time too. So if you're going to 500, imagine what Forza's going to. Like they come out with car packs like every few months.
Right, they going up to 500. We already at 7. Like you already lost that fight, so don't try to make that an argument. They took this time to finally, after 6 iterations of this damn game, to go back and fix the sound sounding like vacuum cleaners.
Yeah,
they sound like cars because they were horrible in Gran Turismo 5.
And it's still not perfect, but
they're not. They're still not the best they can be, but they took that time. They modeled the cars. These are all very good improvements. If this game had been $35, $40, I might be more lenient towards it, but it's a full priced $6 game.
Pretty much, if you play the game offline, all it is a demo. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much what it is. If it's offline, it's a demo. It's online, you got a piece or a portion of a game.
Yeah, now, this is the part that kind of irked me this week when I made my last video. These guys saying, "Oh, how GT Sports looks better." First of all, GT Sports, let's just forget about the resolution. The whole game is using lesser assets. The assets are not the same. So you can like the art direction of GT Sports, but you can say, you know what, it's brighter, I like it better, yada, yada, yada. You could say that. But from a technical standpoint, Forza is definitely superior. The models, the car models match the track. Nothing looks out of place in that game.
Well, that's why
there's a lot of times in GT Sport where shit looks out of fucking place, especially that Tokyo track. Holy shit!
So let me ask you
talking about with the stone walls.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. That's why I said it, right? You know, again, and maybe I should say the Japanese way to model like those games. I'll give you an example, like Dynasty Warrior 19. It costs very little to make those games, and you know they sell 100 copies, then they already made their money back. Like, and to me, with Sony, just with the franchise, right? I've got used to not going all out, you know what I mean, and still reaping the benefits of it, you know, of still selling, you know, quadruple millions. Where you got turn 10, they go to the tracks, they go out there, they actually get the cars, model, they do. I watch what's it? Forza, maybe Forza 4 or one of those Forza. They actually go there and record the sound as the tracks, the actual cars riding around, how each car sounds. Like, jeez.
Yeah. And they laser scan the tracks as well.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So, but anyway, like I said, I want to see, like, you know, some of the reviews. We haven't had a showdown between Forza and Gran Turismo in a long time. So I want to see how, you know, how it pans out, what people are going to be on. But I guess you like what you like, you know. So, but anyway, moving right along. Shannon Loftis, right? Now, yeah, we can talk about that now, right? And then we go into EA. Shannon Loftis, right? Gave an interview with Game Informer, right? Let me share my screen with the audience. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you'd be so kind. Trust me, this segment of the show you don't want to miss. All right. Present to everyone. Make this small. Make it a little bigger.
Bro, I think like 2 pages.
Well, just the juicy stuff, right?
Yeah, just the juicy stuff, yeah.
All right, Microsoft's Shannon Loftis on the Xbox One X Future, Minecraft Exclusivity, and Scalebound. Ooh, right? If you don't know, this is Shannon Loftis here. Post. Now, you gave us the, let me hide this, right? You gave us the link, right? You stay on top with them links and stuff. What was the interview about? Talk to me.
Oh, man.
Bad news. We scratching our heads. What's going on?
It's some good news in there in regards to she made a comment about
okay, let's do the good first. Let's do all the good stuff. Let's do the good, and then we go to the bad.
The only two good things I got out of this interview, only two good things I got out of this interview was that the fact that she said in regards to PlayerUnknown Underground, outside of the PC, she stated that the Xbox will be the only place that you'll be able to play that game. She said that in the interview. Whether that means it's exclusive, they got it exclusive or not, I don't know. But she definitely said Xbox will be the only place you will be able to play that game.
She said something. She said something that makes you question that, though.
Yeah. The second thing is in regards to Quantum Break and Recore about in regards to there might be a part 2, a Quantum Break 2 or Recore 2 somewhere down the line in the future. She stated that it's still some story there to tell that they want to tell in regards to Quantum Break, and they don't want to give up on Quantum Break and Recore as far as the title. It's still something there to pursue. Outside of that, everything else is what we've been talking about. Game Informer asked a lot of the questions that we've been talking about on this show, and she did some Barry Sanders on a lot of the, she tiptoed around pretty much majority of the interview, especially when it came to Scalebound. She did not want to speak or talk about anything Scalebound. She just pretty much said, we're not talking about that right now. But things like she was asked a question about Xbox Play Anywhere program and how did it impact the Xbox brand and the perception of it on the internet being that Xbox doesn't have any exclusives anymore. And it's crazy because she goes straight into bringing up titles like Super Lucky. She know this is the same question where she made about the Players Unknown Underground. She brings in Forza 7. She brings up Super Lucky Tales and stuff like that. Sea of Thieves, Crackdown 3, State of Decay. Even though we know that stuff coming out next year, but she pretty much said that they're content with their first party output, and I don't understand how you could be content with your first party outlook. And he asked her, he like, do you think this is a strong enough lineup? And she actually stated yes. Wow. Yeah, and talk about out of touch. And that's what I got from this interview. She was simply out of touch. They also asked the questions about comparing Sony's 16 studios, internal studios, to Microsoft 7, because they lost Lionhead, they lost Ensemble, they parted ways with Bungie and Twisted Pixel. So, and they asked some questions about what is Microsoft doing to invest in more internal studios. Are they content with the first party effort in regards to this? And she once again, she said yes. She said yes.
Whoa, post. She said, well, as far as my what I do, my position, I can't talk about the she was cutting.
She said no. Z. This gonna piss you off, Z. That's what she brung up when he was talking about the internal studios. She brung up Age of Empires and Rise of Nation. This is not
a Windows 10 exclusive.
The first game she brought up.
He asking her in regards to Xbox. She brings up PC titles, Age of Empires, Rise of Nation. She say Minecraft is continuing innovation cycles and stuff like that. And then she also brings up what she said Sea of Thieves is like a game changer. I don't know where her mind is. But she say her role in regards to the position that she has is to speak with partner studios, which Microsoft deemed as first party development, which doesn't sound right. If you're partnering with third party studios and you calling that first party development when some of them games like PlayerUnknown Underground, which might go to the PS4, you got Tomb Raider, you did all that work and it still went to the other this interview she's just out of touch, bruh. And to be content with the software and what you're in your 7 studios versus Sony 16, I understand why they're in the position they're in right now, software wise.
Here's my question, man. I and everybody's like, "Yo, chill out." Phil's the man. He's gonna lead us to the promised land. How right before you got less than 22 days before your massive system come out? Why do you throw this mug out there to Game Informer of all places to sit there and just be all over the place, waggly all over the place like this, man? Sit her and lock her up somewhere until the damn console releases. I don't understand it. One of the questions that she was asked was, yo, we got Halo in the original Xbox and Gears of War with the 360. Do you think that added an iconic IP to the caliber in the Xbox One generation?
Say that again. Say that again.
Let me say it again. For those that ain't been paying attention and ain't been listening to
that sounds a little familiar. Say that again.
Yeah.
We got Halo on the original Xbox and Gears of War with the 360.
Okay.
Do you think that you've added an iconic IP of that caliber to the Xbox One generation?
And what does she say, player?
The masterful Shannon Loftis says, wow. That's a really interesting question. Put this mug in the cell, throw away the key. Do not ever come out 22 days before the Xbox One X is about to release. I don't understand it, but that's just me. I'm just gonna chill.
Hey, Mos,
I'll be real, bro.
Let me just say that that interview did happen at Gamescom or something like that. It happened at Gamescom. They held on to that because they knew that would be gold. Trust me when I tell you, she was out there looking like Darth Vader at Rogue One with that lightsaber deflecting and just like they couldn't touch her, bro. I'm telling you. And the fact that she had the nerve to even like the way she stretched that whole question out, the way she stretched that answer out and got around it was like genius when they asked her about the iconic IP.
And guess what IP she brought up? Quantum Break and Recore.
Listen, wait, hold on. Hold the phone. Wait, hold the phone. You got lucky I got a hole in my chest and I can't explain it.
So look, we could spend a whole show on a couple of these questions.
I'll be real with you. After you explain that, just to me, it sounds like she's okay with garbage. Like, our first party wasn't that expansive this year, but we're all right. Like, I think you need to move her to something else, maybe social management or something. Yeah. But she should not be wearing her position.
This was social. No, hell no.
With her.
Yeah. Listen. Right, check it out. Right. It's crazy, right? Now, not maybe, but it's what it is. Like I told you guys, and I'm not going to get too long with it, but since I've been doing this here, I met a lot of people within this so-called the gaming industry. I remember me having 33 subscribers talking to people, in Skype calls and parties with people from actually, magazines gaming magazines and stuff. Wasn't a big deal, right? And if you look at some of the questions, and I'm not even tooting my own horn here, but if you look at some of the questions that were asked to Shannon, it's something that, that I've been saying, and you guys were on this channel for a while now, you know what I mean? Microsoft's first generation, they gave us Halo, right? Second generation, they gave us what do you call it? Gears of War.
Yep.
We have yet to have a
iconic IP. Yep.
No, not for this generation. And she, by her saying that, Recore?
She said.
I like Quantum Break. I think it's a dope game. You know what I mean? I'm a Quantum Break fan, but Quantum Break is not on the scale of a Gears.
Yeah, she used those two as an example, and this was the question where she said that can still be they still have stories there to tell in regards to Quantum Break, and that how people got in touch with the far eaten universe of Recore, and I don't know where she getting this from.
And that's why, and again, you guys, I'm gonna want you guys to take this home here. That's why I question, the direction and them not understanding their core and what we, and what we like. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He doesn't have a clue, nor did they have a clue. Like I said, and when I was flipping out about Zoo Tycoon and this, that, and the other, some of you guys didn't get it. I understand the console has to have rarity, fine, but no one is buying a $500 console to play Disneyland or whatever, Zoo Tycoon. If you want to put those games out, you have an S, that's not a problem. But the fact that they spent the money to doll those games up and went cheap on Phantom Dust, and I'm not saying that's like a niche game, but you could have really did it big if you get it, could have got it because the game's ugly, in this day and age, it looks ugly, you know what I mean? But you could have opened yourself to a new audience of people, you know what I mean? But you went cheap on that. I don't understand it. You know what I mean? Like, she is not, I'm sorry. And I don't have anything against Honey Child. She is not the person for this job. Last time I think Phil had her job. I think Phil had her job.
Yeah, Phil had her job.
You know what I mean? Maybe you can put her somewhere else. But she's doing a horrible job. And how you say, Ma, I got social media. Ma said that the fish rots from their head down. You know what I mean? And even listen, I was looking at an interview. Someone posted, I think it was in Bang Bang, and when Phil was being interviewed by GameSpot, and he alluded to the fact that you don't have to pay. We would rather you pay. I'm sorry, you don't have to pay. We don't want you to pay $250 a year to play 2 or 4 exclusives. We'd rather you spend that on software. Even that blew my mind. You know what I mean? You don't want them, you cool with them not buying the Xbox so they can play the game somewhere else, as long as you buy the game. And that right there is, I don't know, man. Like I don't know, man. If it wasn't Jason, to be honest with you, if it wasn't for the console, the X having the better version, the multi-plat or whatever the case, listen, man. I am thoroughly disgusted as a true Xbox guy. You know what I mean? This is not the console, the company that I signed up for. No, you know what I mean? And look, I'm gonna say this. I want you guys to run with. It's one thing I give Sony and Nintendo credit for is that they cater to their core. Microsoft no longer knows what their core wants. You understand what I'm saying? They have lost their identity. They are afraid of their own shadow. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. You know what I mean? You guys can.
Here's what I don't understand. Is that what you seeing a lot is them focusing a lot on this ecosystem where they're mixing the PC gaming and the console gaming. But what I would like to ask Phil and our wordsmith Shannon here is, when y'all wasn't back in this game until y'all did what? Y'all dropped a more powerful console. Stick with the console right now. Focus on that. Focus on giving us what we want, because you're hired to work for us, really, at the end of the day. Give us what we want. We don't care, Phil, if you don't like the people buying the DLC. We don't care about that. Focus on the console first. Then when you lock that down, then you can slide gradually to how you can move this ecosystem to PC. But right now, it's like they're throwing everything in a salad bowl at once. They don't know what they're making. And by the time they're done with it, it's going to come out sloppy. I'm just not liking it.
This is the problem across the board. Microsoft is a better business than Sony and Nintendo. That is the problem. The crux of the problem, one way or the other, they are a better business than Sony and Nintendo. So Microsoft runs Xbox like a business. Nintendo and Sony run PlayStation and Nintendo like it is their sole means for survival, because more or less it is. And that's the problem. That's both the problem and the reason that everything is happening. Microsoft running Xbox like a piece of the business. Sony needs PlayStation to survive. It makes money off of chipsets, and it makes money off of insurance. Those are its top three pillars, those three things. And Nintendo only makes money off of the consoles and software that they sell. Xbox and Microsoft as a whole, that's not what it is. So Microsoft, they know, and I said this in a video before, consoles as a whole, the hardware is a set standard. It'll be, you make X amount until the price of the hardware goes down, the price the manufacturer goes down, so you move up a little, but you will always make this amount from software. Software is a revolving door. It took them 4 years to put out 3 different sets of consoles: the S, the original Xbox Fat, the S, and the X. So in that 4 years, you got maybe, small interim price drops for the hardware for how to make those, separate consoles. And that would make X amount of money. Software comes out monthly. So you make X amount for putting Shadow of War licensing on your console. You make X amount for putting COD licensing on your console. Like, publishers don't make all the money, even if it's digital. The platforms that they put them on take a percentage just to post the title on that platform. And so those things are always going to make more money. Software is always going to make more money. So they're always going to be concerned with selling as much software as possible. Whereas the other two companies need both pillars in order to maintain profitability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just look at what Sony just did. They're now developing games for the Switch. They just announced today that they'll be, and I think this is just them testing the water in regards to them maybe putting some out hardware wise like that later down the line. But they just announced today that they'll be developing games for the Switch, small games for the Switch. So
I wanted to take it back right quick to what she said about when they asked her about the iconic games. Like, how could you even bring up Quantum Break or Recoil? Let me ask everybody on the panel. Do you know the names of the main characters or the villains in Quantum Break and Recore?
I think Quantum Break was Jack, but yeah, it's not. It's a good game, but it's not.
I'm glad you
I
know.
know. I know Quantum Break, but I don't even know.
So who was the villain?
I don't know.
Littlefinger.
Yeah.
One thing about iconic characters and iconic games, you know the names. You know the names all the way back to the beginning. You know Koopa, you know Bowser, you know Mario, you know Donkey Kong. I don't know who is Rico. Who is Recore?
Yeah, you know Master Chief, you know Marcus.
Exactly.
These names just stay with you. And the way she answered that question was very.
I know that there's a McLaren P1 on fucking Forza 5. Yo, forget the character. There's no character. I know what's on the game. I don't know who that is, man.
The way she answered that question was very, very disappointing. She could have stated that, we're in the process of developing and working on something or anything like that. But no, she gave a very disappointing answer. And I don't think that bodes well in regards for the future of Microsoft in terms of first party, because it seems like they're doing what I think Shannon announced years ago, and that was not investing in bringing or assigning internal studios, but just taking their IPs and licensing or leasing them out to other studios to develop them. And if that's the case, then we don't know what we might get. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what a software. We don't even know if we're going to get another Gears or anything like that.
I think. Go ahead. Finish what you're saying, Post.
It's just crazy. It's just disappointing.
I think the crux of the issue with Shannon is twofold. One, Microsoft as a whole, they're avoiding the future talk because of the Scalebound syndrome, but that's doing two things for Shannon. And by no means am I giving this lady a pass in any way, shape, or form, because she ain't done a damn thing that I know of. Whether it's happening or not, we'll see. But her ability to talk about future things puts her in a position where they ask her a question like, yo, what's coming up? We don't know. That doesn't bode well for anybody listening, because it just looks like you have no clue where the hell you're headed. And the second thing is she doesn't know how to talk.
Yeah.
Like her ability to answer things like Phil, when he was in her position, Phil would say a lot of nothing. But you would
make it sound good,
like,
though.
It might be all right. She just like, and then she get that deer in the headlights. Like Phil is a master politician.
But
He's
even
straight up a master politician.
Even with Scalebound, she stated that when we make game decisions, we ask ourselves, is this the right game? Is it the right experience? Is it the right time? And she said, and unless we can answer yes to all three, we won't continue with a development cycle. He goes and say, well, which of those three categories that you listed did Scalebound fail? Yeah, that's one of the things I'm not talking about right now.
Right, like I said, Phil was a politician. Phil would have swayed that real quick. He'd have been like, well, our partners we have, blah blah blah. He would have transitioned that. She doesn't know what to do. She just be like, no. And then everybody looking at you like, why did you even talk? Like, why were you here? Because you came here with no information to give us no information, and then you look stupid on top of it, which gave us less confidence that A, you know what's happening, B, Xbox knows what's happening, and C, that this is headed in the correct direction, or the direction we see fit. And that, like I said, that's all comes back to Microsoft being a better business. They approach things from a business strategy. Xbox is a part of the overall business. It is now part of the Windows ecosystem, and it will be going forward until Xbox is no more, Microsoft is no more, whatever happens. It'll be that way going forward. Sony is reliant on the PlayStation 4. It brought it back from junk. Literally, when I bought stock, it was rated junk, but it brought it back. That's what PlayStation 4 did for Sony. So they went all in on PlayStation. They went all in. Everything PlayStation needs, doesn't matter whether it makes money, whether it doesn't. Just like Yoshida said, we'll put out, you know, X amount of games, only 2 or 3 make money. And only 2 or 3 make money. They don't care, because what they need to do is get that market share, get that mind share, that everything is right on this side, that no matter what is happening in the rest of the world, everything is right over here. Once they have the mind share, then they can get away with things like putting out a full price Gran Turismo game and stripping out half the features that was in the last Gran Turismo game on PS3.
So pretty much this holiday, the only thing that Microsoft is relying on is Cuphead, Forza Motorsport 7, Player Battleground Unknown, and the enhanced titles, and the OG backwards compatibility. That's the only thing that pretty much relying on, and the multi-plats. That's the only thing that we can expect this holiday season, pretty much. And she stated that in the article too. So it's crazy. And then for 2018, she brought up, you know, Sea of Thieves, Crackdown, State of Decay, and stuff like that. But you know,
she brought up 2017 games that were pushed in 2018. Basically, and nothing further. She never talked about any new thing that they are working on currently, or anything like that to give us a wince of hope. And I know Sony have this deal where they do display games that might come out a year or 2 or maybe 3 down the line, but it gives their fan base hope. It allows them to stay put because their expectations are high for what's to come. You know what I'm saying? If I'm looking at what Microsoft is doing right now, I don't have any high expectations because what I know that's present, I'm not really too excited about, and I have no clue of what's to come. So if I'm go ahead.
I'm gonna say this about Shannon. I'm gonna stop picking on her because she has a beautiful smile. I'm gonna stop messing with her. But here's the thing. Notice how Shannon just came out of the woodwork for Gamescom. And Garrett brought up a good point that this interview happened again. But she came out of the woodwork after all the Xbox enthusiasts and the YouTubers were saying, yo, she gotta go. And I think normally companies do this to show, like, as a show of solidarity behind the person. We're behind them 100%, yay. But normally when you do that, you sit the person down, you like, look, man, you under the fire. You got to prove yourself right now. Spotlight's on you, go. And if that person fails like how she just failed in this interview, then it proves that solidarity didn't work. And we're right, and maybe it's time for a move. So that's all I got to say.
And that was the problem. Like I said, Phil, even if he didn't say a damn thing in the interview, you went away from it like, you know what? That dude, he might be onto something.
Exactly.
So it was the same thing when he took over. Everybody was like, yeah, we got Phil. Yep. Because he gave you that confidence in the words that was coming out of his mouth. Shannon, this entire interview looked like somebody who was stumbling. Like she looked like an intern who didn't get the coffee on time. Like
exactly, dropping the folder.
What it looked like, and it made everything even worse because she is your connection to Xbox. Xbox is your connection to Phil, so on and so forth. Each thing is dominoes. She was the domino that tripped and knocked down all the other dominoes. Like that's how it worked. And her inability to instill confidence in what's happening, even if she can't talk about it, is the problem. Because, like I said, Phil is a master politician. Every interview he does, he says a lot, but he doesn't give
Phil be having quotable. Phil be having, he don't say nothing, but he still be having quotables.
Right, but he still be right. And again, you can always come back. He was like, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea for us to do this, but I understand that I need to do it. People will make 15 videos and articles about that one statement. And he literally said, yeah, I don't like it, but we're doing it anyway. That's literally all he said, but it's 15 articles worthy. Because he has the ability to give you that silver tongue lashing, whereas Shannon is just lost.
Here's the thing, right, man, and I'm with you. I've always said that Microsoft, is when it comes to business, they're top notch, you know what I mean? And it hurts them. That's why I said I would rather Microsoft, again, them spin off the division, let it stand on its own, and let them, double down on themselves. Because I'm just being honest, with this approach that they have for gaming, they're not going to win, and maybe it's not important to them as long as they make $1. And I think that's the bottom line, is that they don't care if they win as long as they make a profit. You know what I mean? So
yeah, yep.
And again, I don't get a check if they sell X amount of consoles, but when you're the console leader, you get certain perks, exclusive games, the content. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna switch over. I want to talk about the EA thing before we get the hell up out of here, guys. So do me a favor, hit the like button, man. It helps the show. I appreciate it. It's not so much the interview, and because people get tripped in the interview. Is the fact that she thinks that what do you call it, Quantum Break, and I love Quantum Break and Lucky Tale. What's the other game? Recore or iconic franchises. And I'm gonna be biased. I like maybe Recore can. I'm not Recore. Maybe Quantum Break can grow into iconic franchise, but Recore, hell to the no. You know what I mean? And that right there is to me what scares me. And she doesn't have a clue. I want to just say her, the company, because how you say the fish rots from the head, Phil, like that's what I'm talking about. They don't understand what their core wants anymore. You know what I mean? I'm an Xbox guy through and through, and I remember K Mega said something. It's our job to go out. It's not my job to go out there and buy every. I'm not going to do that. It's not my job to do that. To go out there and act like nothing's wrong. If you want things to get better and things to change, you have to be honest, at least with yourself and with them. Be a consumer first. Be honest, and I don't care who you are. Now, I'm my man Shane Fu. I got time to go to school in 1 second. If you look at the behemoth that the 360 was, and compare it to the Xbox One, if you think it's on the same even playing field, you're not being honest to yourself. And Shane Fu said, "Hey, hasn't people been asking for OG backwards compat?" Yes, so they have. So what's the problem? So again,
we're not talking about the question is not about OG back compat. We know that's good. We're talking about
games,
new content and new IP. And I know you're gonna say, well, they bring out Quantum Break and Record. Yeah, those games are dope. Those are games that I will pluck in between big iconic titles such as a Halo or Gears. We're looking for that next big title. Quantum Break and Recore, those are not what I would consider to be iconic titles. Those are really a big title. Those are I would say a AA. I wouldn't even call it AAA. I called it like a AA title. Really, and at this point that you'll pluck in between other big titles. But like the interviewer said, Halo was on the OG, Gears was on the 360. What titles do we have that's on those levels of those two games on the Xbox One?
It's already been 4 years.
We're 4 years in, and we don't have it, and then we have no proof or high expectations that a game like that is coming, especially with the industry moving towards service-based content. The same reason why EA just shut down Visceral Studios and moved and changed the direction of their Star Wars game, because most likely they turned it into a service-based game.
They are. Well, so we can segue into that right now. If you didn't know, if you don't know, I'm quite sure everybody knows by now, EA pulled the plug more or less on Visceral's game. They're created by, I think, Dead Space 2 and 3, or either 1 and 2. So listen, Microsoft, you said you want to get studios. That's a great studio. You want to go out there. There's I don't know, but we shall see. But anyway, what makes this? I seen the little clip of this. I think it was like 2 years ago. It wasn't 2 years. It was 2 years ago. It may be on YouTube now. I can't say if it is. If I can find it, I'll tell you where the hell I saw it from. But you know what I mean. But anyway, I got a slid clip about 2 years ago, and it showed a little clip of it. The guy was in a hut, a tent or something. Graphics looked amazing. Walked out and how Star Wars got those deserts like boards or whatever with the dust rolling and stuff. It was a board like that, and that was going to be more mature story-driven game. And Amy Hennig, the mastermind that penned the Uncharted series franchise. I'm sorry, Naughty Dog let her go, and EA snatched her up. So you know what I mean, and they pulled the plug on it. Now they're moving. They said they want to take it in a different direction, most likely because it became kind of costly, and they want the game to continue to make money. So they're gonna probably maybe add a little multiplayer aspect to it. I don't know, how they're gonna do it, but they didn't like the vision or.
They said it had direction problem. They said they had to bring a lot of people from the outside in to try to figure out the direction of the game, and it's crazy because they said, given what Amy did at Naughty Dog and with the direction of Uncharted 4, the same issue was there when she was working on Uncharted 4. The same thing was happening in regards to the direction of Uncharted and the software the game being stagnant. And now she goes over here with EA and Star Wars, and it's the same thing. So it's crazy.
She's working on 2 games, this one and the one with Jade Raymond, and I think the problem is that Visceral is more or less like they started to change their philosophy, because you could see it when Battlefield Hardline came out. They started to change how they made games, and I think she doesn't know how to deal with both sets of genres. Like, she's used to the third person action oriented linear narrative driven game, and EA as a whole is moving away from that for a lot of things they do. Like, their core studios, 1 or 2 works on those type of games, or they're open world and they can provide some multiplayer aspect. The whole games as a service thing, that's a real thing at EA, and I don't think she knows how to live in that world. I think she knows how to write a story. I don't think she knows how to direct a game that has that direction to it.
It's crazy that you say that, because the game, it had a linear action.
Yeah, it was.
I'm telling you, that's how she is.
That was what it was supposed to be. Inception. You remember in 2012, LucasArts showed
Star Wars 1313.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that was supposed to be our first
dope.
That was supposed to be our first mature, gritty, when I was upset that got canned or canceled.
Man, that looked dope.
This was supposed to be the something like that, or even better, with a better story. You know what I mean? So I remember Warrior Word was hyped about this, so Star Wars thing. But this is what the game was supposed to be, and I guess the way that they were going to do it couldn't make them much money. I don't know what they're going to do now with it, but EA is the only one, if I'm not mistaken, that has the Star Wars track licensing from Disney.
Yeah.
But
they have a deal similar to how Sony has Spider-Man movies, where they just have to make a game every so often. They basically bought it when LucasArts was in the whole troubled phase, where they were selling things, selling their shoes and selling the brooms, trying to just get people out the door right before Disney scooped them up. So they have that type of deal where they just have to make so many games within a certain time frame to keep the license going.
Game will come out next year?
They said 2019, but now that's going to be pushed back. It'll probably be a 2020 game.
Yeah,
they said all the assets were done.
Yeah,
but they have to redesign the core of the game and how it works.
Yep, they keep an asset, and it's using Frostbite too. So they say they got to reimagine the central elements of the game and create a greater depth and of the game. I guess it was too bland or something. I don't know.
It went to the Vancouver studio, which was already working on the game with Visceral, so it's not like it's going to some place and they have to start from scratch. They're starting from, A, or they're starting from C. They're not
moving her from the project.
They're starting letters into the alphabet, but they're not starting from 0. So they already.
I thought she was just a writer. I didn't know she had anything to do with the tech and making it a game. I thought she was just like
No, she's like the game director, right?
Yeah, I thought she was like the Tom Clancy or something.
I think the one with Jade Raymond, that one, she's working on that one a little more heavily.
What's the one? That's another Star Wars game.
Assigned to Visceral.
That's another Star Wars game.
Yeah, they're making 2 outside of Battlefront.
2, I think.
Oh wow! And when's that one supposed to come out?
Yeah, I
Next
mean,
generation?
Respawn I'd want to know that.
No, I don't know. Jade Raymond, the chick who made Assassin's Creed, they opened a studio basically around her and the Star Wars game.
Yeah.
So I think she's more heavily invested in that one because Jade Raymond makes story-driven narrative type games. So since the whole studio's revolved around it, I think they're gonna go in that direction with that game, and this one they're gonna turn it more towards a multiplayer service type game. What does it end up as? I don't know, but I feel like that's
So when do you have a time for the other game or no?
Nope.
No, they've only released a screenshot. That's it. One screenshot.
Yep.
So we're looking at possibly 2020, 2021 for
next generation.
Yep.
Yeah, you know EA, they love to show off. They ain't got that Microsoft problem. They front and center. As soon as they have something, they show all the stupid dev diaries that don't nobody care about of people working on nothing.
I hope they take some assets from Star Wars 1313 because that's the game everyone wanted, right?
I mean, that stuff is dated by now, though.
Well,
I don't know how dated it was because
the
back
premise
it looked amazing.
The premise was dope.
Oh yeah, that was hot. You know what I mean?
That was dope. Playing as a bounty hunter, that was fire. But
yeah,
like
what
I think
they're using, I don't know what the, but that's probably it probably will look as spectacular now compared to what we've been seeing or whatever. But for 2012, I mean, that thing blew my mind. So that's next generation right there. People argue me down about that.
I think they took part of that premise and put it into the Battlefront 2 story because you play as the bad guy, quote unquote, in Battlefront 2 story. So I think they was like, if we can integrate these two things, we can give them that play as the bad guy you love to hate type of thing.
But I'm not talking
Star Wars universe.
I'm not talking from an aesthetic point of view. I'm talking like the gameplay. Like the gameplay in that game looked fire.
Oh
yeah, it did.
With the double wielding lightsabers. It was hot. It was hot.
And they were on the ship, and the shit was blowing out, and it was like, damn.
Yeah, it looked nice. Also, so they showed another one. They were a Dark Maul game. They had a few games that they were working on. Before they sold themselves off. But I guess this is the nature of the business. Games get canceled.
Yeah,
it's gonna suck.
Yeah. AZ, before we get out of here. Before we get up out of here, I just want to know what everybody thinks about my boy Cliffy B saying that Xbox is a little salty about LawBreakers not coming to Xbox first.
This dude is on something. I think him and Pootie Pie, they smoking the same shrooms, man. You got to look at that interview and see what he says. This dude is off his rocker. He literally says that Xbox feels abandoned and rejected. No, you is abandoned and rejected. You only got 3 people playing LawBreakers right now, man. What is wrong with you?
He didn't even say abandoned. He said miffed. What grown man uses the word myth? But let's go back real quick. This is what happened to Cliffy B, and this what happened to LawBreakers. He was like, I'm coming out of retirement. Everybody was like, cool. What you making? I'm gonna make it an arena shooter. All right, cool. I'm gonna go back to my old school before I made Gears, before everybody knew me. I'm gonna go back to my original, game design flaws, and that's where I'm gonna be. Cool. So 10 years after you made Gears 3, which we know who Cliffy B is. These kids who's 15, 16 years old, none of them know you. So your name is not gonna push your game with those people. So what you should do is talk to those people, get them to know you, instead of talking down at them like they're beneath you. Because right now, nobody gives a damn what you're doing, Cliffy. But he kept talking, kept running his mouth. Y'all need me, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to do this, blah, blah, blah. I'm about to put my game out. It's going to be great, blah, blah, blah. Put the game out. That junk falls off the cliff. It got Sparta kicked into that hole. That's what the hell happened to Cliffy B's game. And instead of saying, well, I understand, but my game can be better, blah, blah, blah. He starts going, everybody feels like I should have done X, Y, and Z. No, you should have shut up. What the problem was, you was running your damn mouth, and reality came up and punched you in it. So shut up. He still had to learn the shut up aspect of this.
Hey, Matchline, I heard they on Steam right now having 1v1s in LawBreakers.
Real talk. There was this streamer, I think his name is like Kenny something. This dude was in matchmaking for LawBreakers for an hour and fell asleep on stream waiting for a match.
Bruh.
Come on, man.
He went to Sony because of the install base.
And I think it was. I think he more or less hopped on the Sony bandwagon because maybe Microsoft didn't get what he was asking for, and a little salty that they decided to back PUBG and not LawBreakers. But is he saying Microsoft it called the company is salty, or are you talking about Xbox fans?
He said they feel
Microsoft, but I don't see how Microsoft can feel salty. Like, how does your game not succeeding affect Microsoft? I don't understand that. Why would they be mad because your game is not succeeding on another platform, or that it's not a? I mean, Xbox fans are not. I mean, when it first was announced that it was going to PS4 only, I mean, a few Xbox fans was pissed off, but that came and went. As far as I'm concerned, I don't see nobody talking about LawBreakers. I don't even see Sony fans talking about LawBreakers anymore. I mean, what laws is it breaking?
When he came out and the 1-2 Xbox dudes was like, why you ain't putting it on Xbox? He instead of addressing that, I made a business decision, blah, 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 done. He said, these little X-twats, quote unquote, is begging me for this. They need to sit down. They're all such kids, blah, blah. You, instead of just saying, this is why I'm doing it. Hey, it's going to be on PS4. He decided to insult an entire fan base. And this is the fan base you were counting on to buy your damn game. You decided to insult all of them. And even in his interview, he was talking like Microsoft should have came to him, talking about whether or not they're going to put it on Xbox. But Xbox is considered before the Switch. Nobody gives a damn. What he thought was going to happen was he was going to put it on PlayStation. He was going to put it on Steam. It was going to make some waves. Then Microsoft was going to come to him with a bucket. Please, sir, can we have some? No. And that's what he thought was going to happen. But
you got to go to Microsoft now.
Right. Instead, he the dude outside begging, and they throwing change at him. And now he like, well, I might put it on Xbox. Nobody cares.
He couldn't probably. Is it a free to play, or does it cost?
No, it's $30. It was supposed to be free to play. And it would have been more successful. Yeah. But he decided to make it $30, which the game is not great. It's not bad. It's like really run of the mill. It's mediocre. Exactly. Is it worth $30?
He put a multiplayer game. He put a multiplayer game on the system. Now, don't get me wrong. Sony fans do play multiplayer games, but I don't think they play them in the same aspect as Xbox fans.
Exactly.
I mean, we grew up on. We had multiplayer pretty much games out the gate, messing with the OG Xbox after within that second years, because I was a beta tester, and I'm pretty sure a couple of people on the panel was. You put it on the install base. It had a large install base, but you gave it to fans who majority appreciate single player experiences more so than multiplayer games.
You know what? I followed this game. I followed this game when he was first announcing Boss Key. And here's what Cliffy B did. It was going to be free to play, and it was going to be strictly PC. But then he saw the console war battles, and then he had a little resentment towards Xbox. He's like, okay, PlayStation 4 is on this thing now. Yeah. I'm going to jack this up to $30, and the PlayStation people are going to eat this up because it's not on Xbox. Realizing that a lot of these, I'm sorry for lack of a better term, a lot of these ponies just like pounding their chest and saying we got this, but they don't buy it. They only buy their typical Sony games, the Lost Odysseys or whatever the hell, and the Uncharted's, and then they don't buy these Japanese games. And he fell into that hype. Now he's got to eat crow. So instead of him saying, you know what, because I talk too much, Microsoft don't want this, he's going to say, well, they feel miffed. They feel rejected, so they probably won't take it now because they feel this. Now it's on Microsoft because Microsoft ain't going to take it now. You know what I'm saying? Why? Why would they?
You know what? Honestly, if he was smart, business-wise, it's a small studio, why wouldn't you want your game to be multi-platform?
Exactly.
To make as much money, as possible.
Exactly.
I think that was his ego more than anything. I think he say he old school. He cut off his nose to spite his face with that.
That game would have succeeded on Xbox.
It
would have thrived. It would have thrived.
I don't know. I think the game. I think the game is just bad. It's just,
yeah, I think
it's a clone, and it's a lesser clone of the better game. And the game already has a clone, so it's a clone of the clone.
Bro, I done seen. Let me tell you something. In my years of being on, I done seen lesser games have a install base on my Xbox. I done seen average shooters, have some type of install base on Xbox Live, and that's the reason why I'm saying that. You know what I'm saying? But
Post up, let's be real. You would raise the player count from 10 players up to like 20 players. People aren't going to play the game. They're waiting for PUBG, if anything.
But I'm saying if they make it free to play, maybe change some aspects of it around. People, it would get people because they ain't got to pay for it. People love free stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, so maybe you can get people, hooked or whatever the case may be. I don't know. If it's even worth it now, cost wise. Even have the servers up and running. It was 10 people playing the other day or something. Right now that game is losing more money today. Yeah, it's losing more money than anything. So it's costing.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. He talked to his boys over at Epic, who was putting out Fortnite, and they was like, "Yeah, we're gonna put it out, and it's gonna cost at the beginning, and then we're gonna make it free to play later." And he thought that his name was gonna sell. Like I said, he thought his name meant something out here in these gaming streets, but it doesn't to 90% of the people because you haven't made a game in a decade, so nobody cares. And he just kept talking.
And plus, the ones of us that do remember him, we remember him as a cocky piece of shit.
And he didn't change from being that. The only difference was now you're not making games. You was cocky before with Epic backing you, Microsoft backing you, and you was making the hottest franchise that was out at the time. Now you're cocky with nobody backing you, and you're in a brand new studio making a brand new game that looks like games that have been coming out for the last 3 years. In a saturated market, you're putting out this game where everything else about it failed. Like Doom as a whole, the multiplayer in Doom is the multiplayer that Cliffy was trying to recreate in some emphasis, but nobody played Doom for multiplayer. They played it for the single player. You put out Doom's multiplayer and expected it to succeed by itself off of your name, your clout alone, and it didn't because you don't have the same backing you did, and you don't have the same people behind you pushing your game to the forefront. You don't have the marketing behind you. You don't have people putting every ad and making motorcycles and real life guns based on your designs. You don't have any of that right now. All you have is Twitter wars with 15-year-olds.
Don't kill people. Let me tell
you something. In other news, to all you Halo fans, the Master Chief Collection will be getting an update and fixes and Xbox One X enhanced in early 2018. So you might be looking at a 4K Xbox Master Chief Collection, and if they do that with 6 different game engines that's built into that thing, that'd be crazy.
Hold up. He said might be. So for all you little wood buffers out there, expose, post up, there is not 4K. He said might be.
Yeah, it's a 360 game. If it's not in 4K, I would be underwhelmed. They said they could have got Halo Wars 2, not Halo Wars 2, Halo 2, the anniversary edition in 4K, but they had to show the old version, unless they were just talking. Show the old version and the new version, the switch between back and forth. You know what I mean? It should be. I mean, I want better textures. If you can give me, I don't care about the rest of it. If you can give me better textures and stuff, better graphics, I'm all for it. You know what I mean?
So let me get this straight. Post up. What you just said was that Microsoft Master Chief Collection was going to be in 8K on the Xbox One. I want to put this on record so that everybody knows that Post up said it. What time is it? It's 1 hour and 16 minutes into the video. Post up said Master Chief Collection 8K with 10K assets. That's what
I said it. I said it might be,
and it's gonna be in virtual reality.
I'm not gonna put a definitive. I'm not gonna put a definitive 4K on there because, like I said,
what up, Dragon?
Got 6 different game engines that they're in that one game. Man, I don't even know how they did. You have to be some real software wizards to bring OG 360, which is using the a Power PC architecture, the OG Xbox, which is using the Vadia GPU, and then, man, to bring all that and have it running on the Xbox One X, that's crazy. Them three different with AMD, Nvidia, and Power PC, three entirely different architectures, man. And that's crazy. You got to be a software wizard to do that, man.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess, man, I'm not really too. I want something new. I don't care about the Halos. Give me something new.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
give me something new. Give me something new.
Speaking of something new, today I went by the Microsoft store, and the new virtual reality headsets, they're actually out, the mixed reality headsets. Today was the launch for them. And they had a demo with Master Chief. And, you know, you're shooting all this stuff, and like Cortana's there giving you instructions on how to use your gear and whatnot. And at the end of the demo, Master Chief says, he comes out and he says, "Okay, let's go. You're manning the guns on the Warthog." And I have to say that experience was that new shit that we're looking for. A Halo game in VR, because Xbox One X will support VR at some point. A Halo game in VR is a killer app for me. That's the new shit.
I don't know. You know what? I wish they would have stuck with the. I could have sell myself using the Lumi room, have it all on the wall and stuff. I thought that was pretty dope. But I know. A lot of people probably don't want something on their face, and maybe they can have it where it can be on the table, not on their head, and wearing it all day. And plus, too, I think it's cost too.
They're not gonna jump. Microsoft isn't gonna jump into the VR market, at least on consoles. Like they already have it on PCs with like the AR headsets. They're not gonna jump into it until it's wireless.
That's next year.
Well, even
this is a valuable market.
The Oculus Go coming out, which is like it's hitting that middle ground between Samsung VR and the actual headsets. And it's starting to get more powerful, get smaller, get wireless. You know, and once it gets to the point where it's basically just a headset and you plug in a dongle, that's when Microsoft will jump in completely on VR with all their like their assets and all that stuff once it becomes a connection device as opposed to its own separate entity. Well, because consoles are simplified.
There is a company, their name eludes me right now, but they do have a device where you can, I know it's working for the HTC Vive right now, where you can plug it into your HTC Vive and it actually makes it wireless.
Yeah, and the thing is like $285, I think.
Yeah.
Very
like, honestly, tell you, like VR, I agree with you. VR, the price needs to come down, but I don't. And of course, I think it needs to go wireless, of course. But I don't think it's gonna bother people having something on their head, because if you've experienced the PlayStation VR and a lot of the headsets they're using that design now, it's very comfortable. You don't even feel it on, and that experience that you get inside of VR. There's nothing like it. So you're not going to care that you're having that on your face, because you're like in a living, breathing 3D world. When I was playing that demo, mind you, the resolution wasn't the highest like it would be on an Oculus Rift or a Vive. But like Master Chief was right there in front of you, like modeled in the proper size that he's supposed to be. You know, like the Covenant guys were coming out. Like it was impressive. I had to like back up. I was like, whoa.
Is there a market for VR right now? You really don't hear too much talk about it, especially in
the price. What's holding VR back is the price. It's simply the price, because if you want to run good VR, you need a very comparable rig, right? And it's only us enthusiasts that have that, right?
Even PlayStation 4, the PlayStation VR itself costs more than the damn system. So
they're coming out with a newer version, right?
That costs more. It's just not going to happen.
Same price. New version, same price.
Yeah, but what's crazy is that the newer version, the box supports HDR. But
that's literally all it does. But it's crazy they're not gonna drop
it supports HDR pass through, but the box is not compatible with the older model VR. So in order to get that experience, you have to go repurchase a whole other PSVR. It's crazy.
I don't know. Like, I see mixed reality could be a thing. Like, you have to be able to switch from your world to the real world instantly.
Yeah.
Like, people don't want to be segregated out of the real world. Like, that's also an experience people just don't want to face.
AR is going to catch on quicker than VR is going to catch on, just because people
like,
want interactive real world experiences. Like, they want to be able to put on, like, it was the same thing with like 3D glasses. You want to be able to sit there, hand somebody next to you a pair of glasses, and y'all watch something on a big movie screen. Like that type of stuff is going to appeal to the base, and that's how VR and AR is going to integrate into how we do things and how much bigger they grow. It has to first integrate the social entertainment space before it becomes mainstream in gaming, because until it is one of those staples where people can say, I am investing in this platform as a game developer because it's growing, as opposed to it's coasting, because that's kind of what VR is doing. Like, if you look at the sales numbers for a lot of these VR headsets, they're basically stable. They haven't dropped off, but they're not reaching any peaks anytime soon. They're stable. The same amount of people are going to buy them as they go on sale, as they really look forward to getting one, as Christmas comes around. The same people are going to do it. So what they need is for them to integrate all those entertainment spaces, for it to be a room full of people with a headset on watching Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man movie, or watching the new Marvel movie.
I mean, yeah, I do agree with that, but like, you have to realize, you said their sales are stable. That's with them cutting down the price on VR a lot. Like that, it's just not a viable market to me so far. Like, it's need to prove.
I think the Oculus Rift is $399 with the controller.
There used to be $600.
Yeah,
I think AR will have a bigger impact than VR at this point.
I agree.
If you look at everybody's jumping in that space, Apple got it with their new iPhone 8s and stuff like that. So I think AR will have a bigger impact. I think VR time will come. I think it will take longer for developers to find out what to do with it. I think it'll take longer for the hardware to support what they're to be capable to put out what's needed to have a real strong VR experience.
I think the technology is there actually. It's the price. It's just expensive. Like HoloLens is excellent, but it's expensive. And also too, they gotta improve the field of view. But the field of view, it's the way it is, not because they can't improve it, it's because of cost. It's to get the cost down. They can make it full, but it's going to cost a tremendous price.
Now, D, let me ask you a question. I know with VR, there's an age restriction. Is there the same age restriction when it comes to AR?
No. Because AR doesn't disorientate your brain. Your brain still knows where you are. The reason with VR is because a young mind is developing still, and it affects the wiring a little bit in your brain, especially for prolonged use. So it's just best they don't use it, right?
AR takes your environment. You know what I'm saying? It allows you to still see. It makes sure your environment. And so, I seen where a person where you go put a big old large screen on the wall, or you can play. I seen somebody playing Halo. I seen somebody playing Halo 5 through it. So
AR is basically like you're looking at an image. So if you're looking at a TV, that's what AR is. You see an image but it's surrounded by your natural aspects. So your brain is not making a cognitive
differentiate
between the two. It's saying there is something here, but we're in the real world, so it doesn't matter. When you put on VR headsets, your brain tells you that this world is now your interactive space. And since you don't have a point of reference for something real, when you take it off, that is what causes most kids to have issues, because their brains developing between the real world and the VR space. They don't see the cognitive dissonance between the two, and they merge them. So that's why it's bad for kids.
You are a computer. We are computers. If you actually look at the human body, we just have the most powerful and strongest processor on this planet, which is the brain, which is power than any CPU. You know what I'm saying? So,
for that fact,
it is what it is. But here's my little take before we get the hell up out of here. I think the problem with AR, VR, they don't have that game yet that attracts the casuals. Like the Kinect had Just Dance or whatever. You know what I mean? Everybody knew it, or Kinect Sports or Wii Sports or whatever. And I think I see that's the biggest issue that AR, VR have right now. Like I said, the price it's going to cost if it's come down. They don't have the software. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about the little indie game, like something that would. The Candy Crushers or whatever that will catch on to the casual. Right now, that's still like a more of a hardcore gamer type tech type.
Yeah, they don't have the software Z, and they don't have the design down. Like this thing needs to be sleek. It almost needs to be like glasses. Like people just don't want to be carrying around a headset, but if you can convince them to put on maybe some glasses, that's a good start from there.
I think what's going to happen in the future, and this is like 10 years down the road, maybe 8, you're going to see these augmented glasses where they'll be clear, they'll wrap around your face, and then it'll darken itself as well, so you can have a VR experience as well.
Yeah,
I think that's where they're shooting for. Yeah, but it's getting there, but we're still in the early stages. On the software part, I gotta disagree a little bit. There is a lot of software out there. Unfortunately, like I said, it's only enthusiasts.
I'm not saying the amount of software. I said something that would appeal or attract to the casuals. I don't know not one game they have, but I know about Kid Next Sports and Just Dance Before I got to Connect.
Supported, like the new Project Cars. There's a lot of games that are supported.
What is the
Super Lucky Tales was actually originally
VR title, but
what is the iconic?
Have you played Super Lucky Tales?
They need something with a license. They need like Star Wars, like Flight Simulator, like the one they had with PSVR.
Don't they already have that?
They need that. They need a full game of that because it needs to, like you said, appeal to random people picking it up. They need random people to pick it up and be like, "Yo, this is so dope. I need it in my life right now."
I agree. There's a lot of games that they could transfer over to VR. Like for instance, Sonic. Like I'm telling you, these platformer games, when you're playing them in VR, like above it, it's incredible. So like a Sonic, like I would even play Uncharted, like over top view in VR. Like it's like I can't describe it. It's amazing, man.
Look, it's more so about the experience. You can slap a big name title on it, but it's the experience have to be there, and it just can't be. What is the iconic VR experience? What is the?
I can't hear guys that
y'all about to trigger game.
I can't hear guys that have not experienced it to talk about it because
that's right.
I have all 3 hits. I have all 3
what I experienced in
out of 10 VR experiences, 8 of them are just fantastic. The problem is people aren't getting to experience it because it's expensive. So we can say the price is holding it back, but the experience is fantastic. Anyone that has tried it will tell you the same thing. It's unanimous.
But I'm just saying, what is the iconic VR experience right now, Demar?
I mean, there might be iconic.
Besides, I'm not saying that. Look, if this is what I'm saying. When you think of Xbox, you think of Halo, Gears. When you think of Sony, you think of God of War and all these GT. What is that experience that's on VR that everybody is talking about or will have everybody talking?
When that's you think of trash. Think of Hakeem. When you think of trash, think of Hakeem.
I mean, Post-up. We have to also change around the question. So yes, I have not really experienced VR, but they haven't really convinced me to experience VR.
Exactly.
Like it is their job to get me to want to try it, and they're not doing the greatest job.
Yeah,
I think the bigger problem is that we just talked about it. You can't talk about success at that level if you have a whole sector of your consumer base that can't even use your device, which is kids. You can't talk about that. The AR, they got AR test games right now that are like Super Mario Brothers. They look all right. You know what I'm saying? So I think AR might be the faster commercial success than VR.
I'm interested in AR
because it's more accessible across the fan base from the youngest to the oldest.
Exactly.
And I will say AR gives you more of a wow factor. When I tried the HoloLens, I couldn't believe what the fuck I was seeing. I was like, I was just, it blew my mind. It was something out of a movie. Like the object was right. Like, of course it was translucent. I could see through it, but it looked real. Like,
and D, you also have to think about it. Like, I know this game is kind of dying or is dead, but Pokemon Go was a big phenomenon. That's all AR though. Hold on, but that's all AR. Like, I mean, this thing has potential. It's already.
When I was out in the street playing Pokemon Go, let me just.
If you put on a headset where it was just some glasses and the little Pokemon.
That's what I'm saying.
But see, that would be beyond Sell every headset.
You can experience AR with your phone, so it would be plausible to transfer to glasses.
Every headset known to man, if you could just be walking around the real world with some glasses on, and the Pokemon jump up and you could throw it. Everything that those little Pokemon Go commercials showed, where people was just throwing Pokeballs, that ain't how that game looks. But if it was real, you know how much that would sell to every single person, like everybody's mama, everybody's daddy, all of them nostalgic grown men who was like, oh my god, I wanted to do that since I was a kid. They would buy that headset.
Hey yo, Halo the Halo song decent dress up as a rising chip for Halloween. One for Halo Storm. Listen, we about to get out of here.
Before we get out of here, I just want to say, man, all them headsets is trash, B. Let's get back to gaming, bro.
Yeah,
from the rip.
Stars Child Swag. He asked about the Broadband Bullies t-shirts and stuff. Waiting to get the. Have you spoken to Jay Williams about the logo yet, Garrett?
Yeah, we'll get them all together soon, man. Trust me.
That was a Shannon Loftis question right there.
That was PR talk right there. That was PR talk right there.
He triggered his inner Shannon just now.
I told the VIP members of the Patreon that I was sending them a t-shirt, bro. Can we get the logo pocket? Come on, bro.
Here, you're supposed to say that was
together.
What was the question? I can't hear you. It was a Shannon Loftis. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about that.
Right, that was his inner Shannon Loftis.
I'm not gonna talk about that. Oh, he ain't shit, man. But anyway, like I said, thank you again. With us here on Xbox Peacefire. And again, if you want to get down with us, the live streams, the shows, the sponsor, what we got going on, I'll leave the link down. We're looking for some writers for the site. We're working, man. You know, rock out with us. We rock out with you, man.
Hit the like button.
Hit the like button, man. It'll cost you nothing, but it is. You know what I mean? Come rock out with us, man. Shout out to my man Star Child Swag. I appreciate it, man. We out here.
Yeah, get your gear swag up, man, and come holler at us, man.
Michael Logo, appreciate it, my man. You know, I work it, man. I put on for you guys, man.
Yo. We also got a debate coming up Friday, man. Y'all don't want to miss out.
My man M2K about to get hands, bruh.
I'm telling you, you all don't want to miss this debate coming up Friday. I think we also got another Gears match this Friday too, man. I don't know. Check our stream, man. We undefeated at this moment, man. So if y'all think y'all can run against the bullies, man, get your Gears team together and holler at us.
Yeah, come get bullied.
Come get bullied, man, for sure, man. But yeah, I think Alex. I spoke to Alex, but I don't know Craig. I don't know what Craig's doing, man. I wanted to hook up Craig with Moss Saturday. Let them debate. I don't know if that's still going on or what we're gonna do. But Alex, 100 said he wanted to debate Alex Friday, so we're gonna say
100 versus Alex.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like
Will the troll get stomped?
Friday.
Yeah, it's like that over here. That's how we doing. We working over here, bro. So we're gonna see what's going
Stop
on.
on his bridge.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the guy that did stomp him out right here.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you again for rocking out. Hit the like button, man. You know, Super Chat is your friend. Get down with us, support us. We out here.